there she goes. Listen to that blade slap and give the guy in the door a nice wave. The Chinook is deployed operationally all over the world and is the go-to aircraft for rapid insurgent and extraction of troops in dangerous locations. As the defence saying goes, the answer is 2 Chinooks. What's the question? This is applied ever since the Chinook joined the RAF in 1980 and is true today as it was then. We'll start the show by seeing the aircraft pull up for a wing over, rapidly turning back round onto target, trading its speed for height and back again. The crew will begin preparing to drop off troops onto target. As the aircraft runs in for a downwind quick stop, they will simulate a lake spot of the landing site to offload the troops and vehicles inside. Either on or off the battlefield, the crew must be efficient in recceing their landing site, making sure it's suitable to land on in the minimum time to avoid threat exposure. Having found their landing site and now making their approach, crewman Josh up front in the right will be giving voice marshalling directions to Cal and talking him forward and down onto the landing site whilst monitoring the height of the aircraft as she comes into land. You'll get your eyes now to the back of the aircraft on the crewman. The crewman on the ramp is Flight Sergeant Dave Sims. Born and raised in Margate, Kent, he joined the RAF in September 2014 as a weapons systems operator and has been on Chinook Force since 2017. He's a qualified helicopter crewman instructor and has accumulated over 2,000 hours on rotary platforms, completing many overseas exercises and operational deployments, and when Dave's not in work, and mostly when he is in work, he likes to be found on the golf course. He's also found the ability to glow in the dark, which will become apparent later on. You can see at the ramp, Dave's already cleared the troops out and the vehicles exited the aircraft. Now as the aircraft departs, it performs what we call an over-the-shoulder departure. This presents the armoured floor to the enemy and thus protecting the people on site inside and the troops. As the aircraft's turned away, Cal will climb the aircraft to return and now come back to provide mutual support for the troops. Think of this as an overhead protection for the troops, now exposed on the ground. Alternatively, it allows a pair of Chinooks to land in sequence without the loss of airborne protection. If we had guns fitted today, other than Cal's of course, you would see that Dave and Josh would be ready to employ their crew serve weapon systems. The Chinook could be fitted with an M60 machine gun on the ramp and 2 M134 miniguns on the port and starboard side, each of which is capable of firing 3,000 rounds a minute. That's 50 rounds a second and one hell of a noise. The Chinook and its crew can protect itself and deter engagements, protecting its passengers and any troops on the ground. Time now to introduce our co-pilot for today. Joining Cal in the cockpit is Flight Lieutenant Jacob Cameron Johnson, or as we know him, CJ. He's originally from Cottingham in East Riding of Yorkshire. He joined the RAF in 2016 and was awarded his wings in December 2021. He spent the first 12 months showing them off to air cadets by flying them and other air experienced passengers on the Grob Tutor from RAF Wittering. CJ is the baby of the team, joining the front line in 2023, and he's commonly known as what we like to call a crow. Despite this, he's already deployed overseas on operations as well as multiple exercises in the USA, Sweden, Cyprus and Jordan, giving him plenty of experience under his belt. CJ's an avid Formula 1 fan, but there's nothing louder and better than the sound of a Chinook blade slap. Next up, the team will reposition, where we'll be showcasing an exciting and dangerous capability of the Chinook. Repositioning once more, then run in for a fast roping approach, decelerating the aircraft rapidly to accurately dispatch the troops on the tight landing site. If you look in the door now, Josh has dispatched a rope and Dave has dispatched the ropes from the ramp. The Chinook can simultaneously fast rope 4 ropes at once, 1 from the door, 2 from the ramp and 1 from the centre. Now as the troops have departed the ropes, the aircraft begins to climb. You can see that Dave has what we call banged off his ropes on the ramp, and Josh is working hard in the door now to recover what could be up to 90 foot of rope. So he's getting quite a sweat on inside that door. Not only is only just troops that go down the roads, we can also put items of stores and also what we like to call furry land sharks, or military working dogs as we like to call them. Something you're definitely not going to see at the next cross. Okay, down the back then we've got Sergeant Joshua Lyons, who's working at number 2, so at the front door. Josh is from Staffordshire. He joined the RAF in 2014 as an aerospace systems operator and was posted to RAF Camp in 2017. He made the right choice to retrain to aircrew, became a weapons system operator in his 5 years, and has had 5 years on the Chinook force. Josh is deployed all over the world on exercises and operations, and prides himself on being the world's biggest Birmingham City fan. He lives at RFO, near RFO with his French Bulldog Cody. Okay folks, if you look now, keep your eye on the JHSS team that are currently sat on the runway with the quad bike. The crew now return to pick up the quad bike, which has rapidly been prepared by JHSS as an underslung load. Underslung loads are the bread and butter of the Chinook force, with all crew members front and back working together to manoeuvre the 99-foot long aircraft into a fine-tuned position. As Cal positions in the overhead of the underslung load under Josh's direction in the door, Dave is looking through the centre hatch to safely direct the pickup of the quad bike, with all 4 crew working in synchronisation with the JHSS team operating beneath the hovering aircraft. You'll notice 2 hookers would have held their hands up. One is holding a static discharge probe so they can touch the hook without getting an electric shock from the hook. It's particularly important when operating in dusty environments like the desert to save a nasty shock. Chinook can have 3 underslung loads, carrying up to 11.3 tonnes on its centre hook alone. This quad bike weighs just 350 kilograms, but if it can be rigged, the Chinook and JHSS can take it. Being such a capable aircraft, it can even pick up another Chinook, albeit with a few bits cut off to save weight. With a maximum all-up weight of 24.5 tonnes, which is 2 double-decker buses, this workhorse has seats for 30 troops inside and can overload to 55 with belts on the floor. The raw power and the versatility of the Chinook is all down to its iconic tandem rotor design. It provides huge amounts of lift and a large cabin. This is all achieved without any danger of messing about with tail rotors that frankly us Chinook types want no part of. While the crew just demonstrate an underslung load circuit, we better mention some of our hookers team down on the grass. On the grass today we've got the lead in JHS today is Corporal Jordan, who served with the British Army for 9 years. We have Lance Corporal Rowbottom, who joined the Army in 2010. We also have Air Trooper Paul Stripe, who served with the Army Air Corps for the last 5 years. And then finally on the ground we have AS1 Daniel Gray, who's part of 606 Reserve Squadron. Now if you look back, you can see that unhappy quad bike swinging below the aircraft. The crew will be monitoring the load during all stages of flight, and as you can see by the swing, road vehicles aren't big fans of flight. The crew will manoeuvre the aircraft to counteract the swing as the load hits the airflow. The aircraft now returns to drop off the underslung load and complete what is called an operational drop-off. This is a combined rapid drop of a load and strop and egress away from the threat. It's used in a dusty or high threat environment to get important supplies rapidly onto the battlefield. Again there's the crew departing with an over the shoulder, presenting that ballistic floor to the enemy as they depart. Crew now sets off once more into a wing over, and then they're going to set up for a running landing. This is used in situations where performance is limited, and this may be due to hot and high environments like the desert or high above sea level landing sites. It's also routinely practiced for emergency handling, as it is often our preferred landing style in the event of a single engine failure that precludes the hover. So we all loved popping a wheelie on our BMXs as kids. Now watch Cal do this whilst 30 feet away from the aft wheels in a 16.5-ton helicopter. At this point, Josh is monitoring the height beneath the front wheels, whilst Dave monitors the aft disc. At 26 degrees nose up, the aft rotor blades would strike the ground. We will not be demonstrating this today. The teamwork amongst the crew allows for effective information to be passed to Cal and CJ as they handle this magnificent machine. Now as the aircraft comes to a slow, it's time for the Chinook's party piece. It's one of the only helicopters in the world that can reverse on two wheels, although you will see Cal doesn't have his arm over the passenger seat whilst looking backwards at the same time. You can see now that the Chinook has presented its ramp to the crowd. Dave's now currently on the ramp with the nice orange gloves, which have become a bit of a mark for the Chinook crew team. As the aircraft lifts, you'll see Dave wave into the crowd, so make sure you give him a big wave back with those orange hands. Dave's quite embarrassed about this, but those are his actual hands, so please make sure you keep applying that sun cream, otherwise this is what you'll look like. Also remember to give Josh in the door there a wave. He's not got the orange gloves, but he definitely wants to get in on that action. As the aircraft now prepares for its audition for Strictly Come Dancing, I'd like to thank the crews on the ground that make this all happen. Chinook is supported by a huge team that keep the airframes functional and airworthy 365 days a year, holding national standby and readiness commitments for worldwide operations. It's worth noting that the Chinook flying today draws its crew exclusively from frontline units, with our roll demo activities conducted around normal operational commitments. It's thanks to tireless work of the aircrew, engineers, ops, survival equipment specialists and all the other supporting functions that have enabled the team to deliver this demo for you today, in addition to our normal businesses. Okay, Duxford, all good things must come to an end. So to end the show today, like any performer, you will see a bow from the crew and a flash of the lights. And then you'll watch the incredible Gorny climb, named after the base in Bosnia where the Chinook demonstrated its incredible power, dominating other helicopters types during the Kosovo War.